Lastly, I have a notice from Live, and alright, this is gonna jog your memory, chat. I don't know if you guys remember. Do you guys remember a VTuber named Eilene? That sounded very unwell. Unwell's not the word I'm looking for. She was saying that she sold the business to a man, a Chinese man, and he was taking it, not taking advantage of her, but he was scamming her and pressuring her. And False ID made a video on it. Yeah, she looked mentally unstable. And False made a video on it where he was presenting Eileen's claims first. And then he made a follow-up video presenting the owner of the agency claims. So now this agency is releasing a statement, and I have the translation here. And one of the Eilene family VTubers is now in Holo Advent. Yeah. And that VTuber, I believe, I haven't checked that for myself, so take it with a grain of salt. If I check things myself, I'm 100% on it. But if I heard it from somebody else, then I'm already more skeptic. But I've heard it from a good source that she drove that VTuber crazy. She drove that VTuber completely crazy. She almost broke her. So, I don't know if the names will be good though. We suspended Milfia Valentine's and Whitefield on January 22nd. So this is the VTuber group. It was created in 2020. So Milfia Valentine here is graduating, and the other is Whitefield over here. Sometimes between February and April 2022, Eilene sold the agency to a Chinese businessman called Mr. Lin due to her ongoing health issues that prevent her from managing her co-workers.
Who is telling the truth? That as today we turn to Eilene, self-described as a 2D YouTuber and also just an anime girl. That as today's episode of TVS includes exclusive information on this story alongside a number of very serious topics. Viewer discretion is advised. So once again, that's Eilene, not Eilene, one of the world's very first virtual YouTubers. Their very first video uploaded to YouTube nearly 10 years ago on March 3rd of 2014. This virtual YouTuber then launching on October 27th of 2017, the massively successful Mirai Akari project. Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the most important VTubers on Earth, even being fundamental in bringing VTubing to the English-speaking market. Numerous users surprised by posts made by Eilene earlier today, taking to Twitter to post up this message in Chinese, and then minutes later posting up a video to YouTube, saying here, I posted my suicide note as a video. This 8.5-minute video, containing a number of sketches along with special effects to tell a personal story of Eilene's, describing their business dealings with an individual known as LCG, or just G for short. Eilene then further taking to Twitter to summarize the story of that video, stating, I am thinking of dying. I sold one of my VTuber offices, H, to a Chinese national in 2022, and this man is threatening me and forcing me to pay over 20 million yen in unpaid debts and potentially 40 million yen in all, as I am being forced to cry myself to sleep. The Dark and Joy are taking time to offer up a translated version of this message. But before going into this story, we do want to make you aware there are two sides to every story, and TVS has exclusively now talked with this character of G, as we intend to share with you their side of the story after providing you with Eilene's. This note reading, suddenly, this is a farewell letter. I believe I will die soon. I have been defrauded by a Chinese man and subjected to threats of over 20 million yen in unpaid amounts and 40 million yen if I don't quietly accept it. Due to numerous threats from this Chinese man, I can no longer live without medication. While the medication is effective, I feel drowsy, and when its effects wear off, I am overwhelmed by panic and anxiety, leading to suicidal impulses. In 2022, I established a VTuber agency called H. That being H Live, an adult virtual talent agency consisting of virtual YouTubers created in 2020. Eilene further saying the agency's annual revenue reached 100 million yen. However, I fell seriously ill and sold the agency to a man I met in Shenzhen, China. He belonged to China's super rich class. His father is the head of a state-owned enterprise, and his mother is one of the leaders of a provincial government. and I trusted him. However, after the sale post-closing, for a year and a half, he continuously withheld payments from the live streamers I was covering for him and consistently insulted them. Eilene giving examples like, quote, all live streamers have small brains, trash like them can't survive in society, these people have low IQ, and I want to fire them. Eilene saying too many to list, so please forgive the omission. Moreover, until now in 2024, despite promises and signed contracts, he has never provided me with a profit and loss statement. Currently, he owes me over 20 million yen. I have urged him several times due to financial insecurity, but he has consistently evaded with excuses like wait in a few days. I caught a cold, wait a few days. And recently, when I demanded payment again, he resorted to threatening me. Examples of, I will make you suffer. I hate you, so I'll do anything. I'll make a big fuss. Do you know what will happen? Don't think it'll be over, even if you go to court, etc. Afterward, he added, if you don't like that, settle for half. Come on, decide quickly, or the amount will decrease rapidly, and other threats. I've completely broken down mentally, and now I can't survive without medication. Worst condition in my life, and when the medication's effects fade, suicidal thoughts arise. Eilene then continuing on to talk about potential threats coming from this individual, named G, stating he has previously mentioned things like using a slightly expensive method of making companies write defamatory remarks on bulletin boards, and manipulating public opinion. Feeling my life is threatened in an unsolvable way, I have sought advice from several lawyers. They've told me that it is quote-unquote very advantageous, and there is very little the other party, the Chinese...
It's a crazy story. But also I think if you're gonna be involved in a lawsuit, maybe you shouldn't say that you're like mentally unstable and having isekai thoughts.
This man can do, but also mentioned that,
because they'll use this against you.
You cannot seize assets. And questioned, is he even at his address in China? Is that address genuine? Essentially, I am told that I have no choice but to accept the situation. I can no longer live. I can't protect what needs protection. I'm consulting the police about the threats, but I don't know to what extent the Japanese police will respond. Surely no one will help me. I probably won't be alive soon. Some may say, this is a China risk. This is what Chinese people do. But it's not that kind of issue. By exposing his actions, anyone could potentially suffer the same harm. I hope the information can be useful even after I'm gone. In conclusion, even if I succumb to the threats and end my life, my only regret is my family. Please, if there is someone who can help, help. Signed, Eilene. An incredibly serious message which dozens upon dozens of users forwarded to TVS today. Eilene in the video also alleging they will reveal their full name if they do take their own life, and even alleging that they were harassed by G, offering no proof of screenshots in the video itself of that allegation, but showing a pixelized screenshot of numerous personal messages from G in which allegedly they are disparaging the talents and managers of Hololive. After that, Eilene posting up a picture of numerous used and unused antidepressant medications, saying, after the threats I received, I can no longer live without my meds. I feel like I'm going to die when the effects of the drugs wear off. I need someone to help me. Later stating, I received some advice by way of DMs and have now DM'd Kore. This being a very well-known...
No way, I forgot Kore was involved too. That's crazy. Why is he in everything?
YouTuber in the Japanese scene. Many in our audience knowing of this and due to their involvement in interviewing Mafu as in regards to the Mike Neko marriage story. Eilene then asking for help from Chinese viewers and then reposting that same message from before, this time translated for Taiwanese viewers. That message seen here and here. And so now for the twist to the story, TVS has been granted exclusive access to the individual on the other side of the story, that being LCG, who we will now simply refer to as G. After being introduced, sending on screenshots to TVS, and also directly contacting us through the Hololive account on Twitter, G stating of Eilene, remarking he had a good business which can earn well, as you can see. And so just to clarify, G is an adult man and so is Eilene, identifying on the internet as an anime girl, but behind their VTuber self, identifying as a man. G once again stating he had a good business, which can earn well, as you can see, but it was all lies. First, he never went for those merger and acquisition agencies as far as my research goes. That was much later. And the only places he did go, he lied to the merger and acquisition agencies. E-Production, that being Eilene, to G, stating I want to be fair and don't want to give you premium prices just because you like H-Live. What's important for me is that you have good chemistry with H-Live, and I believe you do. Anyways, here's the price Japanese merger and acquisition agencies offered me. These amounts in the millions of yen then being shared. G also mentioning, as you can see, I've asked my talents of H-Live to set most of their stream archives to private, and yes, it is true. Those talents at this time have privated numerous VODs and streams of their own. G then going on to say, anyway, what really happened was Eilene scammed me, and he intended to do from the very beginning, I'm afraid. I was his fan, so I didn't doubt much of what he said. Didn't double check a lot of the info he gave me, so I believed the picture he painted and knew the group H-Live just lost 3 of their Gen 1 members at the same time, who according to Eilene just tried to steal Eilene's knowledge and went indie. Those 3 Gen 1 talents had accounted for around 85% of the revenue of H-Live. What I thought was that Eilene's knowledge and connections, even after losing 85% of revenue,
I don't know who to believe. I don't know. And Eilene sounds unhinged as well, not gonna lie.
the mergers and acquisitions agencies rated the business so high, it couldn't be wrong. And I was dead wrong, because first, he simply lied. He never got any contract with those mergers and acquisition agencies, and the only one he talked to, he lied to them to hide the fact that the 3 talents had just left, and further, he never went beyond a non-disclosure agreement.
What's a merger and acquisition agency doing? I thought the merger and acquisition agency quoted her company at 1 million yen. I thought they were there to check the price.
Agreement with them. That's the first lie he told me. The second lie at the very beginning was, despite what Eilene's claimed online, H-Live was not a company. It was never registered as a company. All the talents were contractors with him, and there was no banking or tax system. The management was him and 1 part-time manager with 140k yen monthly income. There were also 3 outsourced MMD, that being Miku Miku dance workers, and for this skeleton group, H-Live had 7 talents. And before I took over, 3 talents quit together. Eilene told me this crew is why the business is so successful and profitable. Even just 2 weeks ago on tape when I confronted
the one-man army, the one-man company. Yeah, but you can't lie about your company being like worth more than it actually is.
him, he was still
You're gonna get
insisting
sued.
this. While in reality, I have screenshots and other proof that talents had left because Eilene always claimed that he is sick and took days for himself before coming back to the talents. The only manager also doesn't even reply within a day. After I took over, the situation was pretty much the same. And so Eilene, lied about the group's operation. The third lie he told me was about contracts. As I mentioned above, H-Live was not a company. It was his freelance business, so all the contracts he had with talents were with him. But according to Japanese law, once he sold his freelance business to me, it closed down. So all the previous contracts he had with all the talents will become void. As a matter of fact, I learned this very late from one of the lawyers who was handling his conflicts with an ex-H-Live talent. Yes, there are 5 cases, 4 were ongoing when I took over. And since he dumped this to me, all of his conflicts became mine. G stating further, all the contracts will go void if the talents don't want to stay. They don't have to. G adding, in reality, of the 4 remaining H-Live talents, the top earner of them never re-signed with me. And
Shut up,
quit.
Charlie.
And when confronted with this on tape, Eilene literally said, I told you you'd better re-sign the contract. But he never told me that the contract
Yeah, it turns out she's the one running the black company.
he had with the girls will not be inherited to me. Most of these were lies he told me at the very beginning, and with all of this above, I made a very, very stupid decision. And that was to buy H-Live with a total price of more than 80 million yen. That currently being over 535,000 US dollars at the time of this recording. G breaking down some of these economics and why it was not advantageous, saying that when I took over the group, revenue from the 4 remaining members left was roughly 2 million yen per month, give or take, and half of that goes to the talents. Therefore, by G's math,
It's gonna take him 100 months to pay back the debt. How many years is that? That's insane.
it would take at least 100 plus months to even pay back the debts on purchasing HLive. She's stating, I think Eilene mentioned that he worked for me for 1.5 years for free in his video, and he also paid for the talents that long because I didn't. That's a total lie. You see, in the case as a foreigner without a long-term visa, I cannot open a Japanese bank account, and HLive is not a company, so there was no company bank account. Plus, as a foreign citizen, I couldn't start a Japanese company alone, so I had to find someone to start the company with me. Eilene promised this and
Give her back the company. I'd be like, I don't want it. This isn't what I bought. It'll take that guy 8 years and 3 months on average to pay back all that money. Then he can maybe start being profitable? Yo!
and went through meetings with an agency until he disappeared. Because he claimed, according to the merger and acquisition contract, he only needed to help me for 1 month. G then clarifying another point. If a VTuber quits or graduates, usually as management, we're supposed to close down the accounts, right? But no, not for HLive under Eilene, or shamefully me at the beginning, because that's what he told me to do. Eilene told me just to hide the fact that the talents are gone, and use existing leftover voices to keep pumping out contents on.
Ain't no way. This is one of the biggest VTuber taboo, to hire other actresses to record to play a VTuber.
Fantia, aka Japanese
No.
OnlyFans. And
What the
that they're just
fuck?
going through a long hiatus and keep getting the money from members who already quit. There was literally no way for me to get the money from YouTube Fantia. Fantia is the main income of HLive, but they don't send to China due to Chinese regulations. G then providing a screenshot and saying Island said he had introduced an accounting firm to me. But that accounting firm can only send money from within Japan because of tax regulations. So as a result, all HLive money was held by them, not me. I only got paid twice in my first 3 months. And then from, I think, May of 2022 to August of 2023, I never got my 50% share. I worked for free for 15 months. Yet you go look at what this mother effer said in their video, that, oh, I don't
Okay, but I feel like this should be... Isn't that easily, like, proved? Show us some
pay my
statements.
talents, and that they worked for free, and that he is the victim, laughing my ass off. At this point, I state, moving a step away from the business side for a moment, in the video and letter, they were stating you were insulting the talents. Did this happen? As in the Island video, there is a pixelated shot alleging these are DMs from G insulting the talents. G then admitting to this, saying yes, because I was very desperate, and the talents all know about what I've said. This happened in late 2022 or early 2023, because I felt that it's the end of the world. Me, with 80 million yen plus in debts. So I just tell them, hey, you sold me a piece of shit. It's hopeless. I want to fire everyone and quit. As a former
Can he not? Yeah, Alexa does need correction. She does. She actually set that up so I could keep track of the Japanese stock market, because it opens at 8 p.m. my time, but now that the market's crashing, there's no point in me looking at that.
form of protest and also as a form of ranting. Talents know about this once the video came out, and I have apologized. Then moving quickly back into the economics of this deal, G originally set up to pay 10 million yen to begin the 50% share of HLive's revenue, then needing to pay 20 million more yen by the end of 2023 to achieve that 50%. I then just point blank asked them how much have they spent so far, with G responding 33 million yen roughly, stating that they actually wanted to keep their total investment to 43 million yen, at this time offering 10 million more yen to Eilene to close out the deal and allow Eilene to walk away. But Eilene said that anything under 50 million yen was not acceptable and that they just could have kept running the company themselves. G then returning to the insults, stating also, I said everyone including the managers and talents are useless moron losers, and I want to fire them and quit the business because it's hopeless. And yes, now the talents and managers know this. I apologize to them beforehand. I don't know what the talents think about me, but it's very low to take these comments out of context. I don't care what he said. You can ask my talents how I treated them. They get 50% of the revenue while I subsidize all the fees. I do care about them a lot, and before this happened, as of late 2023 to 2024, I can say we were among the most wholesome VTuber groups. We have a dedicated ex-VTuber manager just for mental care, while Eilene, he didn't care for This is so disgusting and clearly an attempt to defame me with lies. And when asked, did they think that it was a threat of a court case that kicked off this video from Eilene, they would respond yes. I told them if we can't settle, I will sue. And when asked if they're aware of anything regarding that sexual harassment allegation, G responded no, not in any way. As you can ask all my talents, I can totally prove anything. Eilene just wants to defame me because they know they have no chance to win and want to ruin me before the court case is concluded. G then revealing that Eilene is being sued by multiple individuals, including one ex-H-Live member who asked for 4 million yen compensation. G actually being able to see these court cases as they have access to the H-Live email and providing TBS with screenshots of these emails along with actual mail documents. G further stating that an individual associated to Eilene has told G just to ignore those and that Eilene at the current moment is potentially hiding in China, thereby making this potential court case all the more real. G stating that my lawyer speculated that he is trying to avoid a lot of stuff, multiple lawsuits. That's why he is so afraid if I go to court. Because if I was the one in the wrong, why not settle it with laws? I'm very happy to do so. Like I said, I had done nothing wrong. I got scammed. I want to settle things in court. Yes, I insulted my talents, but I'd say I care more for them than any other lewd VTuber group. And
you understand?
Harass them for that part. Eilene has zero proof. Eilene is going scorched earth. I then ask about this portion in the video and from the letter, talking about threats. Threats such as hiring another company to defame Eilene, spreading information on bulletin boards, and more. G responding whether they ever sent those threats, saying no, never, zero proof. All I said was, go f your lies. I'm done. Either we settle with my offer or court time. I never said any of these. Why would I? I can win. It's him. He doesn't care because he is hiding in China. And thinking if I can't find him, I cannot sue him. G stating further from my talents and people.
Wait, isn't it better if Eilene is hiding in China? Because his home country is in China?
Who know me and Eilene both, I don't think anyone is on his side. All I can do is lie and put up a defamation piece. And for what? I told him we should settle in court. If he can win, then why this? And this is unlike Mafu Mafu and Mike Neko. Most of what he said was just blatant lies. There is zero proof. The only thing that really happened was I ranted about my talents and crew when I was desperate. And I told him I'm not going to pay him a contract because it's a scam. That I can't settle with him, but can't do for the amount he asked. I will sue him if we cannot settle. When I asked if there was anything that G would like to say to you, the audience, maybe state, LOL, honestly, 2 things. Do you watch Bleach? Eisen said one line, and that
not the Bleach quote.
Admiration is the furthest thing from understanding. I was his fan. He was the OG pioneer of VTubers, and that is why I was blind. Another thing is, for everyone, VTuber business partners and whatever exploited by Eilene, I promise I will end this right here and right now. Let me be the last victim of him. And saying to Eilene, don't talk people and learn to control your emotion.
Okay. So now this agency has released this statement. And this is the translation. Hello, Hololive and the former management has been supporting you. Thank you for your continued support regarding the termination of the contract of Milfia. And that's a mistranslation. We checked her name earlier. We officially announced the termination May 10, 2022, the reason for the termination. However, as we continued our investigation on the matter, we found out the following. In February 2022, we contacted the former management and made requests for information about their activities. And I'm wondering if Eilene is the former management there. We found out that they were making false statements during the contract. We continue to investigate the contract of Milfia and Wakai for further clarification. Again, Wakai is not the right name. Based on the results of our investigation, we will be taking legal actions against Milfia and Wakai and correcting any misinformation that we have found out about them. We apologize for any conclusion we may have fans of Milfia and Wakai. We're still investigating the company's activities. We will continue to work hard to achieve our goal to collaborate with the company in order to give back to our fans. We hope you will continue to support us. It's Whitefield, not Wakai. Whitefield and Milfia, and I don't know what they said about the company or what the hell they've been lied about. It seems like a whole mess. This is another translation that's completely different from the one I just read. This translation says, we suspended Milfia Valentine's and Whitefield in January 22nd, 2022 and announced the termination of their contract in May 2022. In February 2022, we replaced our CEO. Note, company was sold to a Chinese dude. During the change, we terminated the talents based on incorrect information. While looking at something else in 2024, we realized that there actually was no breach of contract. We apologize. We contacted both talents to apologize. Milfia wants to re-sign, so she's redebuting. Twitter account is now open. This is a note from the author.